Our legal system, based on a tradition of law and justice, gives Canadian society a valuable framework, the rule of law, freedom under the law, democratic principles, blah, 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 blah. So Canada has a legal system. Our system of laws are not right or wrong, and certainly not moral, just tradition. We can change our mind. We can change the law. Nothing to do with morals. It's whatever is legal or illegal. So you can be the most perverted, disgusted, vile human being that ever walked on earth and still not have done anything illegal. And then I went back about 200 years to a very old book about this word legal, and it said, legal, permitted by law, according to the law of works, or resting on works for salvation, as opposed to free grace. That's confusing. So legal has to do with the law, but grace or mercy or pardon or forgiveness or whatever is not done by the law. I guess forgiveness as in a pardon, but to forgive someone means somebody has to be in the place of giving for you. Instead of you giving, someone else gives for you. This free grace and forgiveness thing sounds like something to do with God again. I keep coming across God stuff in the law and constitutional documents, but I know God has nothing to do with the law. Churches do not make the laws. The legislature of a country does. How do I know that churches or God do not make laws? Well, there are four neighbors living side by each. A lawyer, an atheist, a plumber, and a Presbyterian minister. And they're all friends. I know it sounds like a joke coming, right? The lawyer made an oath to uphold the laws of Canada. The atheist obeys religiously every law of Canada given by Her Majesty the Queen. The plumber does not know what the law is, but does it anyways because he's scared of the law. And the Presbyterian minister, he tells everybody he obeys the laws of God. He's a man of God. And people give him money for being good, I guess. Now here's the reality, the facts. They all obey the same laws. Defend their actions in the same court, are all charged by Her Majesty the Queen when they break the law. They all suffer the same penalty, but they don't believe that. They just don't know that, except for the lawyer. You see, they're all friends, but only the lawyer is called a learned friend. That's lawyer speak. The rest of the people, friends, are just dimwits. In fact, if they get in trouble, they go over to their learned friend, the lawyer, and let him feed on their misery for his sustenance. Now, there are many groups in the world that protest the law or break the law because they hate it. They argue with their own servants, argue with the police, claim that the cop does not have their will or consent. I don't have to pay my taxes. I never agreed to this. You don't own me. I'm not your property. Well, it's obvious that their knowledge is lacking. Whether you're a patriot group, common law group, tax protester, Freeman Society, Occupy Wall Street movement, an Aboriginal or religious society, or any other group I've never even heard of, you should change the course you are taking before you hurt yourself. You will become the proximate cause of your own injury. A smug judge once told a man who said these exact same things just before he sent him to jail. Now, if you don't own anything, what are you protesting about? I do not think you are protesting. I think you are begging. If you don't own any property, who are you protesting to? Just manage it and regulate it yourself. Or sorry, if you do own property, just no sense of protesting. Just manage it and do it yourself. Do some real work and mind your own business. But right now, you don't own a business. You're told you do, but you don't. That's deception. That's a lie. That's a fraud. If people owned their own thing, this world would be so productive. We'd be so much further ahead. But anyways, I will explain and show why you have to obey the law and protesting the law is futile. I'm also going to explain basic law and government as you practice it. Any lawyer could do this, but they won't. They presume you already know. If you knew what he knew, you wouldn't need him, and he would have to get a real job. You only need a lawyer for what's called P&P. Pleading and procedure. See, they have a procedure on how you plead and beg and solicit, pray, petition your God. In the tribal times, there were medicine men. In medieval times, there were priests. Today, we have lawyers. They're your intercessor to fulfilling the law for offering sacrifices and offerings. Did you know the government has no obligation to explain the law to you? In fact, they can't give you legal advice. You have to pay a lawyer for that. Or if you want it for free, go see your representative. After all, he or she is the one who spoke for you. They will tell you what you said and what you agreed to. They will tell you the law you made while you were too busy working. You see, when you go to court, there's a presumption that you know all of the law because you are the one who made it. A court cannot get a conviction otherwise. Let's have a quick look at law and government, a little history. Laws are basically rules, and government is basically the system by which rules govern things. Control or govern things, sorry. So where did law and governments begin? Well, if you go on the internet and type in history of law, you get, we evolved and we were barbarians and savages, and at some point, maybe 100,000 years ago or whatever, we started to form some rules, some communities, some tribes, some governance. There was probably a law back then that said probably Cro-Magnon man or Neanderthal man had rules like no man shall drag his wife around by the hair except under the authority of a license and subject to the regulations. Now, this history is not correct, but this is what you think of as history. Today, we only have a record going back about 7,000 years to Egyptian laws, the Hammurabi Code, Justinian Code of Laws. Anything before that seems to be lost in history. It's strange how we have records going back a few thousand years, and before that, nothing. Like it just fell off the face of the earth. I guess anything before that is prehistoric. That means before history, prehistoric, before history. That would mean before time. So I guess that at one time there was a time when there was no time. Before history. That would be prehistoric. What a stupid word, huh? Prehistoric, before history. When we look at nations, countries, laws, rules, and government, it's just like the animal kingdom. No difference. No laws governing this. When man as a human animal developed, they probably decided that fighting each other and killing each other and stealing was not good. So they formed groups, families, clans, tribes, nations, countries, communities, societies. Each group would claim a territory, mark it with their scent. We put out a flag or a fence. They defend a territory. We have an army for that. We don't let anyone in. If anybody comes into our territories, we deport them or drive them out. We have border guards, fences. We post watchmen along the borders so nobody can come in our claim. We claim this, it's ours. We were absolute sovereigns, rulers over their territory. Animals are the same. This is our territory. No one else can challenge it. Each territory had its own rules laid down by the supreme one. The leader was the alpha male, the biggest and the strongest. Occasionally there'd be a fight. Who's going to be the leader? We today have a leadership campaign. Not quite like an animal, but pretty close. They still call it a fight. So someone that's old and experienced and knows everything would be the best leader. He's also the one that's allowed to breed. All the young would come from his seed. They're all the image of their father. So you have one common progenitor. They're all created in his image. If you're in Canada, you're all the sons of Canada, the image of Canada. If you're in Britain, you're all the sons of Britain, the image of Britain. Look at your identification. The UK, look at Canadian. Everything starts with Canada this, Canada that. This is the family or the tribal surname. So that's basically how government works. One big happy family. That's society. And you defend your sovereignty or territory with an army. Everybody fights or gets drafted to fight. Have a look at the last page in your passport. You can be called up for military service. Every citizen can. If you don't go, they shoot you, they kill you. Citizenship is allegiance in return for protection. That's what citizenship means. You want it to be protected from the boogeyman. So I swear my allegiance to this country. I will help fight and defend it. So it's a protection racket. It's like the mafia coming around your business. You need protection. You give me so much allegiance, duties. I will protect you.